Hey guys, Professor Floyd here. We're working on OEH 5723 homework set 6. We're on problem number 5, and this is kind of a fun one. And it was a little bit challenging just because you had to find the constant, and you had to get into the literature to find the constant. I don't believe it was available anywhere else. So this is a nursing mother who is a bit of a pothead, and she smokes marijuana pretty heavily, and she got called in for a drug test or whatever. They did a blood draw, and they found that her serum THC, tetrahydrocannabinol, levels were 0.2 nanograms per mil, and we now want to say, you know what? She's pregnant and she's nursing. So what is the THC level in her milk fat of her breast milk? So, like I said, the challenge on this one was finding the constant that describes how THC partitions into an organic layer compared to out of water. So we are given the plasma or the serum concentration at 0.2 nanograms per mil. And that's going to be our water concentration. So this is a KOW partitioning. So the KOW is the concentration of something. In this case, it's THC. In the octanol, or the organic phase. Octanol is a nice proxy for organic phase. And divided by the concentration of THC in the aqueous phase, or the water phase. So if you got online, you might have noticed that there's actually hard to find data at first, and then you find in the 80s, early 80s, out of I think it was Denmark, but it could have been I think it was Denmark, it doesn't matter. There were a few papers that came out, and they talked about the KOW, and they used the shaking flask technique. So you have literally have octanol, literally have water. You douse one of the two medium with the chemical of interest, and then you shake it according to a certain type of protocol, and then you analyze the octanol and you analyze the water, and that's where you get your partitioning coefficient from. There are newer techniques that use an HPLC direct analysis. So the older technique from the 80s found that the KOW was around 6,000. In 1987, there's a Health and Human Service document from, I'm not sure which division put it out, but it says that the KOW, it loosely says the KOW for THC is around 1,000. But it turns out that the newer technique finds that the KOW for this is 10 to the 5th. So I think they actually said it was like 9.4 times 10 to the 5th. So it's almost a million. And that was confirmed with some theoretical calculations that they did too. So it seems that the octanol water partitioning is at least 6,000, maybe as much as 10 to the 6th. For the sake of this, I'm simply going to calculate using 6,000. So this is really, really straightforward now that we know this partitioning coefficient. Our concentration in the organic layer, which is going to be the milk fat portion of the breast milk, the fat portion of the breast milk, is what we're looking for. So our concentration of THC in the milk fat, we'll just call it octanol, is equal to our KOW, which is 6,000, multiplied by our concentration THC in the aqueous, which I said was 0.9 nanograms per liter or per mil? Per mil. So usually blood concentrations are measured per mil or per deciliter. Not too often is it measured per liter. So you just multiply this. It's pretty straightforward, and we get a number. Now, did I ask for it to be reported in any particular units? I asked for it to be reported in, no, I didn't. So I'd like for it to be reported in micrograms, but that makes sense anyway. So 0.09 times 6,000 is 540. I'm sorry, I'm mixing my two things up. So in this case, the concentration was supposed to be 0.2 nanograms. 0.2 nanograms. And so it comes out to 1.2 times 10 to the 3 nanograms per mil, which of course we can get rid of that and change this to a micro. And so it's 1.2 micrograms per mil. But we worked out that exact number, but the real important thing here is the KOW. We have a KOW of 6,000 to 1,000,000. So whatever is in the mother's blood is going to be in even higher by a factor of 10 to the 3 or 10 to the 6. What's is going to be what's delivered to the infant. Now, you know, human milk fat content might only be about 5 to 10% of the milk volume, but 5 to 10% of something that's 1,000 to 1,000,000 times more concentrated than is in the mother's, then I guess you could see how this might be a significant exposure to her nursing infant. So, all you potheads out there that are thinking about really smoking a doobie while you are nursing, you might want to think twice.